Okay, so today we're diving into something pretty big, I think.
Yeah.
How do you really become the expert, the go-to person? And even more than that, how do you get people to rally around your ideas?
Yeah, and the stuff you sent over really gets at that. We've got expert secrets, which is like a roadmap. It's pretty practical, taking you step by step through how to build that influence and, well, yeah, how to turn your expertise into, a successful business.
For sure. It's really interesting to see the author's connection to ClickFunnels. You can tell that a lot of the book is built around how that platform works.
Oh, totally. And, Robert Kiyosaki wrote the foreword.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he really emphasizes how this stuff can lead to actual wealth. I mean, he's all about that, right? But the idea is, sharing what you know as a path to success, not just in terms of impact, but financially too.
Right, right. And it all started, the book mentions, with a conversation about belief. So we're getting into some pretty deep psychological stuff here too. I think our listener, the person who sent this in, wants to cut to the chase. They want to know how to stand out, how to get the right people to pay attention, and how to actually make a difference. No fluff, just the stuff that works.
Okay, got it. Let's get practical then.
Yeah.
One thing the book highlights right away is how much easier it is now to get an expert business going. Back in the day, man, it was a whole different story.
Oh yeah. You needed like a web designer, a copywriter, someone to figure out the whole shopping cart thing, just to get started.
Huge barrier to entry for people. But ClickFunnels and platforms like it have kind of leveled the playing field. The book talks a lot about that.
It's true. Now you can build a whole system without needing to be a tech wizard. Makes things way more accessible.
And Kiyosaki, in the foreword, he says success is about having a dream, the hustle to make it happen, learning fast, and knowing how to use your, quote, God-given assets, end quote. He sees expert secrets, especially when you add in something like ClickFunnels as the way to do that.
Interesting. It's like taking what you're already good at, what
Yep.
you know, and turning it into something that generates real value.
Right. And the author really gives a shout out to the whole ClickFunnels team, the people building the platform, the support, everyone. He makes it clear that none of this happens without them, which is cool. They're enabling this whole expert-driven world.
Okay, so you need the tools, right,
Yeah.
but you also need the right mindset.
Absolutely. One thing that comes up a lot in these materials is, well, how many people have great knowledge but feel like they're not good enough to teach it?
Oh, yeah, like they haven't earned the right or something.
Imposter syndrome,
Yeah.
right. You know you have something to offer, but there's that voice in your head saying you're not ready. The book tackles this head-on with a story about Tony Robbins.
Oh, I love Tony Robbins stories. What happened?
Apparently, he got kicked out of a program. He was helping people, but didn't have the official certification.
Oh, wow. Classic.
And the lesson there is, quote, your results are your certification.
Powerful. You don't need a piece of paper to prove you know what you're talking about.
Right. It's about the impact you make, the lives you change. The book is giving you permission to embrace your expertise and start helping people now.
Yeah. And I bet some people are thinking, but what if other people know more than me? Well, the fact that this book exists and we're even having this conversation suggests you do have something valuable to offer.
Totally. Your perspective is unique, and someone out there needs to hear it. So how do you find those people? Well, the sources say that most expert businesses fall into one of three categories: health, wealth, or relationships.
Makes sense, right? Those are the big ones, the things people are always trying to improve.
But it's not enough to just be in, the health niche. You got to get more specific.
Yeah, like 2 levels deep at least.
Yeah.
So instead of health, maybe it's sleep training for toddlers or vegan meal prep for athletes. Something targeted.
Right. And the book gives some questions to help you figure out if a niche is a good fit. First, are people in that niche excited about the new opportunity you're offering? They need to be drawn to it.
Second, are you passionate about it? I
Yeah.
mean, really, truly passionate. Because that energy, it rubs off on people.
Oh, yeah. But equally important is the market passionate, irrationally passionate.
Okay, how do you tell if a market is irrationally passionate?
The book says to look for things like dedicated events. Are there conferences, online summits, stuff like that? If people are gathering around this topic, it means they're really engaged.
And are there celebrities or gurus in that niche? If there are already people selling information and solutions, it means there's a market for it. You don't have to be the first one talking about something. You can join a conversation that's already happening.
Exactly. Find a wave and ride it. Okay, so
Yeah.
you've got your niche, your audience. Now, you need to be a leader they want to follow.
Right. And the sources talk about 3 rules of a charismatic leader.
Hit me with rule number one.
Become an attractive character. Now, this isn't about looks. It's about being relatable, sharing your story, the good and the bad. People connect with vulnerability. They want to see themselves in you.
Yeah, authenticity is huge. Don't be afraid to show your flaws. It makes you more human.
Okay, rule number 2, maintain absolute certainty. This isn't just confidence. It's about being unwavering in your message. People are drawn to that kind of conviction.
And that comes from sharing your message consistently, refining it, getting more and more confident in what you have to offer.
Right. Consistency builds trust.
Totally. All right, what's rule number 3?
Don't be boring. You got to keep your audience hooked. The book talks about how successful experts are always creating content. But how do you stay interesting without going too far?
It's a balance, right? You don't want to be bland, but you also don't want to alienate people by being too out there.
Yeah. They use bulletproof coffee as an example.
Oh, yeah, the butter and coffee thing.
Exactly. It was unconventional, but there was some logic behind it.
Yeah.
It wasn't just crazy for the sake of being crazy.
It sparked curiosity. It's about offering a fresh perspective while still making sense.
And there's a quote in here from Jay Abraham. He says, "If you believe in your product, you have a moral obligation to market it."
Love that. It's about helping people, not just selling something.
Totally. Okay, let's talk about building a movement. This is where it gets really interesting. The book says that to really create a mass movement, you need a future-based cause, something people can rally behind.
Like a shared vision. Think about political campaigns, social movements, even religious movements. Yeah. It's that sense of purpose that brings people together.
Right. The book even uses the term culture, but they spell it with a hyphen, culture, to emphasize that it's about creating a positive community.
A tribe of people who believe in the same things.
And there are a few key principles for creating this kind of movement. First, where can your audience place their hope and faith? It's got to be something inspiring, something worth fighting for.
Like that line from Rogue One, rebellions are built on hope.
Exactly. Or the ClickFunnels message, you're just one funnel away. It's simple, but it gives people something to believe in.
The second principle is helping them break their 4-minute mile.
Okay, what does that mean?
It's about showing them what's possible. The book uses the story of Roger Bannister, the first guy to run a mile in under 4 minutes. Once he did it, everyone thought, well, maybe I can do it too.
Ah, I get it. It's about shattering limiting beliefs.
Right. And the author talks about the 2 Comma Club in ClickFunnels. It's a group of people who have made $1 million from a single funnel.
Wow. That's a powerful image of success.
But the key here is that the 4-minute mile you're showing them has to be something you've already achieved. You need to walk the walk.
Right, you can't just talk about it, you got to live it. What's the next principle?
Creating a strong identity for your followers. Give them something they can identify with, a label they can wear with pride. I'm a funnel hacker. I am a lady boss, things like that.
It creates a sense of belonging, of community.
Exactly. The book tells the story of Lady Boss Weight Loss. When they rebranded and focused on that identity, their customer churn dropped significantly. People were more committed because they felt like they were part of something bigger than themselves.
That makes sense. Okay, last principle.
You need to create your own title of liberty. It's basically a mini manifesto that outlines your core values, what you stand for.
Like a declaration of independence for your movement.
Exactly. The Funnel Hacker Manifesto is a good example. It clearly lays out their beliefs and what it means to be a part of that community. So you've got your charismatic leadership, your cause, your tribe. Now you need to present them with an opportunity.
Right, but not just any opportunity. The book makes a distinction between improvement offers and new opportunities.
What's the difference?
Well, improvement offers are like, hey, you're doing this wrong, let me show you how to do it better. It forces people to admit they've been making mistakes, which can be kind of a blow to the ego.
Oh, yeah, I see. Nobody wants to feel like they've been doing it wrong all along.
Exactly. But new opportunities are different. They offer a fresh start, a chance to do things in a completely new way.
It's like, hey, this is a whole new game and you're in on the ground floor.
Exactly. And the book says new opportunities work for a few reasons. First, they have the excitement of a new discovery. It feels like you're in on something special.
Right, like you're ahead of the curve.
Second, there's no pain of disconnect because you're not forcing people to confront their past mistakes. It's a clean slate.
Third, it's a dream replacement. You're giving them a new and compelling vision to strive for.
And finally, there's that allure of greener pastures. We always think the grass is greener on the other side, right?
Makes sense. So how do you create a new opportunity? The book talks about 2 main ways: opportunity switching and opportunity stacking.
Opportunity switching is like taking someone out of their current vehicle and putting them into a new one, like switching from traditional websites to sales funnels, or from Atkins to Paleo.
It's about presenting a completely different approach. And opportunity stacking is more about enhancing your core offering with new tools, services, features. It adds value and makes the whole thing more comprehensive.
ClickFunnels itself is a good example of both, actually. It's an opportunity switch from traditional websites, but it also allows you to stack opportunities by integrating different features and tools. So we've talked about leadership, causes, opportunities, but how do you actually get people to buy into what you're selling? The book emphasizes the importance of getting early results, even if it means working for free at first.
Yeah, the idea is to prove your worth to build credibility. The hardest way to start, the book says, is by trying to write a book right away.
Instead, you should find a small beta group, a test group of your ideal customers, and work closely with them to get them results.
It's like, don't tell me, show me. Show me that your method works.
Exactly. There's a story about Alec Jetzel, who landed a job by showing his skills, not just by applying. And the author himself, when he launched the Inner Circle coaching program, he worked with someone for free to generate a testimonial.
So the focus is on serving others, proving your expertise before you focus on selling.
Right. Those early wins are gold. They build social proof. They give you confidence.
And then once you've got some results, you can start crafting your initial offer. Often this is a beta masterclass of some kind.
And the book says to think about the result you want for your people and the vehicle, the process you'll use to get them there.
Okay, but here's the interesting part. They recommend starting to develop your marketing materials before you fully design the class.
Wait, really? Why is that?
The idea is to make sure your offer resonates with your audience right from the start. You want to use language that hooks them in, like highlighting little-known big differences or the missing ingredient.
Or this changes everything, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Things that create intrigue, make people want to learn more.
They also talk about the Ask campaign, which is just straight up asking your audience,
Yeah.
what's your number one question about your topic?
It's a great way to understand their needs and tailor your offer accordingly.
And then you can reframe those questions as bullet points in your marketing. It's like, here's what you asked for, and here's how I can help.
So simple, but so effective. And for the masterclass itself, they recommend using tools like Facebook groups and Facebook Live. It's all about getting those initial results, not about fancy production value.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of practical stuff, but at the heart of it all is belief. The whole expert business model hinges on creating belief in your audience.
Right. You're not just selling information, you're selling a transformation.
Yeah.
And transformation requires belief. The book introduces this concept of the big domino. It's the one core belief that if you can instill it in people, makes everything else fall into place.
Could you give an example?
Sure. The book uses this one. If people believe that sales funnels are the absolute key to online success and that ClickFunnels is the only platform that truly makes building effective funnels attainable.
Okay, I see. If you believe that, then everything else follows. You need to get ClickFunnels. So the big domino is like the foundation of everything.
Exactly. It's the keystone. Now, how do you create that belief? Well, it's not just about logic and facts. You need to connect with people on an emotional level.
That's where storytelling comes in, right?
Yes. The book calls it the Epiphany Bridge. It's about sharing the story of your own aha moment, the experience that made you a believer. People make decisions based on emotion, and then they use logic to justify those decisions.
It's true. We like to think we're rational, but we're not.
Nope, not really.
Yeah.
So you got to tell your story in a way that makes people feel something.
Yeah.
And the book emphasizes using simple, relatable language.
Yeah, the kind of like bridge, they call it.
It's about breaking down complex ideas into something everyone can understand, and you want to control the state of the listener.
What does that mean?
It means telling your story in a way that takes them on the same emotional journey you went on, so they can experience that same epiphany.
Powerful stuff. The book also talks about story structure, drawing from a book called The Hero's Two Journeys.
Oh yeah, every story has two journeys, the external one, the journey of achievement, and the internal one, the journey of transformation.
And there are 5 key turning points that keep the story moving and keep people engaged. The book gives 8 specific elements to consider when crafting your own origin epiphany bridge story. It's pretty in-depth.
It's a framework for making your story as compelling as possible.
And when you're trying to understand your audience's deep why, their real motivations, remember that it often goes deeper than their surface-level desires. Keep asking why. to get to the heart of what they truly want.
Okay, so you've got your story, your big domino. Now you need to address the false beliefs that might be holding people back.
Right? Those limiting beliefs that are keeping them from embracing your new opportunity. Things like, I'm not good enough, or this will never work for me.
The book recommends thinking about the false beliefs you had before your epiphany. That can give you some insight into what your audience might be struggling with.
And then think about the experiences that might have caused those beliefs. What happened in their past that made them think this way?
Once you understand the stories they're telling themselves, you can start crafting your own stories to counter them.
It's about gently challenging their assumptions and showing them a new way of thinking. And again, storytelling is key.
Exactly. Show, don't tell. Okay, so you've built belief, you've addressed their objections, now it's time to present your offer. And the book talks about creating an irresistible offer using the stack slide.
The stack slide is a visual representation of everything you're offering. It's about stacking all the value together so it seems like a no-brainer.
Right, you brainstorm every single thing you can offer to help them achieve their desired result. Think beyond just the core product or service.
The book gives 6 categories of elements to include: the masterclass itself, the tools, the training, case studies, traffic and support, and exclusive bonuses.
It's about overwhelming them with value. And then, once you've stacked it all up, you reveal the price. It makes the investment seem small in comparison to everything they're getting.
So we've covered a lot: mindset, leadership, causes, opportunities, belief, storytelling, offers. It's a lot to digest.
It's a whole system. But the core message is this. Building a successful expert business and a thriving community is about more than just knowledge. It's about understanding your audience on a deep emotional level, crafting a narrative that resonates with them, and creating unwavering belief.
Right. It's about connection and transformation.
Exactly. So as you think about your own expertise, I want you to consider this. What is the big domino you want to establish in the minds of your audience? What's the one belief that, if they embrace it, will change everything for them?
And what's your epiphany bridge story? The story that will make them a believer.
Those are the questions that will guide you on this journey.
That is a fantastic deep dive, and I think this is the perfect time to end it.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks.
You're welcome.